Hello and welcome to all the men and women of the West. I'm Joe, here with me is my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
And today we're going to be discussing the last little bit of part 1 of Dragons of Autumn Twilight. Last we left off, the gang had discovered Raceland was in danger. Dun dun dun! Yeah. Bupu was panicking, shivering, and utterly terrified of the dragon. The gang didn't know exactly what they should do, with Tanis admittedly deciding that they can't really jeopardize Raceland's safety, which good on Tanis. Though, much as we were kind of like, well, they did kind of throw away Raceland last time, to another extent, here it would almost be a different situation, in my opinion, because it's an almost unwinnable situation. Cassandra, of course, demands the blue crystal staff, doesn't get it, and we've got Raceland, who's just kind of shaking his head at everyone not willing to sacrifice themselves now, because earlier you were willing to, now you're not. I don't get these people. And of course, Goldmoon then sacrifices herself, but you know, for certain characters, death's just
a revolving door.
Yeah, and something you play jump rope with.
It would have been a great death for Goldmoon.
But once again, the barbarians are spared from the consequences of their actions. I really don't like this. Okay, my opinion is that had they killed off Riverwind earlier, do not kill Goldmoon here. Keep Goldmoon alive, because as a character, she'd have growth she could undertake because of the fact that Riverwind would have given his life to secure the blue crystal staff and the discs of Mishakal. She would feel obligated at this point to make his death mean something and to stop the forces of evil. Instead, the story ends when they recruit Elistan and convert him at the end of this book, but then they decide that they're going to adventure because, why not? The gang walks away with the discs of Mishakal, which hold a lot of the ancient ancestral teachings of the true gods of light, with the gang fleeing back to the temple of Mishakal as this part of the city starts to give way, and Goldmoon is resurrected, and she's now claiming, I'm a true cleric now.
At least if she died nobly with a sacrifice, saving the party from a dangerous threat.
So how come Sturm and Raceland couldn't be revived later? No, I'm serious. Because they kill off Sturm and Raceland really well as well, but they don't revive them, and yet they're better characters. Let's revive them. Heck, Flint. Why not revive Flint? Oh, well, he has a heart attack. Well, death's just a phase people go through.
One thing that they didn't explain is how was Goldmoon revived?
Power of Mishakal? And yeah, I agree. The best scene that we're going to discuss in this video, though, has to be that of the heartrending scene between Raceland and Bupu. It's also heartwarming. You see here the human being, the man underneath the armor with Raceland, so that he looks at Bupu tenderly when he finds her crying in the middle of the night. Initially, he assumes it's someone else making noise, but then when he realizes it's Bupu, he softens and decides, oh, okay, there is some compassion needed. Bupu is crying because she's homesick and she's never been away from Saroth, but at the same time, she's divided because she doesn't want to let Raceland go. And so Raceland looks at her very tenderly, presses his hand to her head, and prays to the gods that if there's any great destiny within him, let it pass over to her and let her live maybe not a heroic life, but a full one in peace and happiness. What's touching is that Raceland truly came to love her in a very deep, abiding way, not in a man and woman way, but just almost in a paternalistic manner. He lets her go, which is one of the most powerful things you could do when you love someone. And in some ways, the scene reminds me of the Tarzan scene of Kia starts crying and you have Tarzan, no matter where I go, you will always be my mother. That's what it reminds me of. This scene is heart-wrenching, also heartwarming. She then gives one last gift to Raceland. She's given so many, it's starting to lose count, and this happens to be the spellbook of Feast and Tantalus. Of course, Bupu's a rogue. Greasier fingers than Tass. Raceland thanks her and is very pleased to have this spellbook, wishes her well. She departs, although she offers to also try to cure him of his cough, which we get honestly a scene where, I'm going to be honest, kind of dampens any affection I have for Flint. When he basically just mocks her and says, oh, have you finally gotten rid of your gully dwarf pet? And Raceland looks at him with anger. And Flint gets so scared he quickly hurries back to bed, shaking and trembling, which he deserves it. Then again, I mean, no offense, but he deserves far worse. Because honestly, Bupu was not a bad person. She's not evil. She never did him any harm. Actually, she's done him a world of good and helped save their lives. I do understand Flint not liking them. Sturm and Tanis don't like them. But those two are willing to tolerate Bupu because they saw it as, after what she did with Cassandra, it seems like they were willing to take her along on the adventure. Flint The way he says it is so disdainful. There are times when he's not the most appealing person. And there are times when I think that I don't know how good a person he would be in real life. If he's willing to treat gully dwarves that way, and gully dwarves are representative of essentially paupers, and with far less than the rest of us. If he's capable of treating and thinking of people that way, what kind of person does that make? And I know I'm judging him very harshly, but
it'd be one thing if his response was, "Are you ready for your watch?"
Yeah.
That would mean he ignored the situation or letting Raceland keep his pride.
But instead, he tries to humiliate Raceland by deriding Bupu. I know some people may think we're being overly harsh. I do love him as a character. I especially love him when I read Soulforge. In Soulforge, it is Flint possibly at his nicest. At his finest.
Flint can be a charming character.
At other times, he's charmless. In personality, I guess I'd say he's probably like Namor from Marvel Comics. He's an acquired taste. Raceland soon catches sight of something and wakens Tanis, who's annoyed, and Raceland points out to Tanis, Solace is burning. This is a shocking event. It is referenced later as a big deal for more than just Solace. It's also shocking for the Qualinesti elves. And we're going to get to that in a video or two. I can't wait for the next video when we'll be introduced to my favorite Gully Dwarf, Sestun, the guard Gully Dwarf.
Oh boy.
Remember him?
Yes.
He's so slow. I love Sestun as a character. I wish he actually became an actual regular companion in Hero of the Lance. They needed a Gully Dwarf on the team. That's my argument. Just for someone to be like, okay, how many are there? 1, 2, 2, 2. Holds up 5 fingers, and it could be anything between like 1 and 1,000,000. I know that some people might say, no, we can't have a regular Gully Dwarf companion. Like, come on. Just to confuse people and just otherwise be an irritant. Sorry, I'm a Gully Dwarf fan. I like them. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and that subscribe button as though you were Theros smashing the Dragonlances into shape.